If you missed out on the Bachelorette Reunion Show, fear not. Bachelor Fantake has you covered. This action-packed first hour had us all on the edge of our seats as Chris Harrison drove around on a bus.
That's it? Really?
And that was hour one. Have you ever tuned into an episode of one of your favorite shows and then realize, oh, this is a clip show? One of those episodes where it's mostly just flashbacks to previous episodes? Well, this is what hour one of the Bachelorette Reunion Show mostly consisted of. It was all framed around the idea of Chris Harrison giving a Bachelor Nation tour, which, low-key, if this becomes a real thing, I'll need a hookup for a few tickets, just saying. Chris wrangles a crowd of Bachelor superfans to such famous places like the ESPN studios, where they can look at the outside of a building and the producers can cut to the time when Chad said this.
What were all the things that you love about me?
I feel like in that moment you should already know that.
No, I'm a words of affirmation.
Chad's not a giver.
I need you to tell
Chad's
me.
not a giver.
They then looked at the outside of a studio, where this happened.
Whatever you do.
Take it, Becca.
I'll be right here waiting.
Chris knows it.
Ugh, stop, Chris Harrison. Just don't cut to the other clip.
Baby, I compare you to a kiss from a rose on the grave. And ooh, the more I get of you.
Thanks, Chris, for bringing that back into my life. Next, the bus gets to actually go into a building, and surprise, Nick Viall is waiting for them. Is it me, or do we always see Nick and Ben Higgins coming back time after time? Like, they're the dudes who graduated already but always seem to show up at campus parties.
What happened to you?
A lot.
So after the group gets a bunch of one-on-one time with Nick, the group then moves on and we get introduced to a bit called Bachelorette Secrets. Here's Becca's.
Here's a fun little secret from Fantasy Suites. The night that Garrett and I spent the night together, we may have broken the bed. Sorry, Mom.
Wow. You had sex with the person you were dating and going to pick in the end. Let's fast forward to what JoJo had to say.
One of my dirtiest secrets from my time as the Bachelorette is that I projectile vomited on my first rose ceremony ever. And let me tell you, it was dirty.
See, this is why I'm Team JoJo. Becca's like, we had sex, teehee. And JoJo's like, hold my Cosmo. So as the show moves on, we get to catch up with where some of the Bachelorettes are now. Many have children now, such as Allie and Deanna, and Emily Maynard has enough children to defend Winterfell from the White Walkers. Most have found love in ways they didn't expect, such as Caitlyn, who's dating Jason from Becca's season. We then get a look at where some of the biggest Bachelor bad boys have ended up. Wes, who gave us this gem.
The first guy ever on The Bachelorette to make it to the top 4 with a girlfriend.
He's apparently reformed and given up his bad boy ways. Justin, aka Rated R, who also had a girlfriend on Allie's season. He's a bartender and still has an ego.
The craziest reaction I've ever got was when a female came up to me and she told me, look, I saw you on the show. I would never date you. I would sleep with you, but I would never date you.
He says he's Rated R retired, but I just think he needs to Rated R retire that soul patch. Okay, enough bad boys, it's time for the bus to pull up to the mansion, where the tourgoers scramble like mad people around the Bachelor mansion. But before the Bachelorettes meet up with them, we have to know that Rachel is getting married. The gals have a bridal shower lunch and Rachel gets some gifts. My favorite was from Astrid.
This is maple syrup?
Yeah, it works on pancakes too.
You know, Astrid went to Kevin, her Canadian boyfriend who she met in Paradise, and was like, what should I get Rachel? And he was like, maple syrup. Now after Brian gives a sweet gift to Rachel, it's time for the gals to all finally gather. So 12 of the 14 Bachelorettes, not including Hannah who is still filming her season, made it to the reunion. The two missing were Meredith and Jen. Chris Harrison has said that this was purely because of scheduling. They had to pick a day the most amount of people could work with. Now Jen we know couldn't make it due to a family vacation, but Meredith is the bigger mystery, as she's apparently said she was never contacted about the show and had no idea it was happening. So, mystery there. But back to the show, earlier in the day, the 12 that made it all came together at the mansion to go over their time on the show, and even play a game of how many degrees of separation are we from each other?
I don't love the term sister wives, but there are some sort of weird connections.
The only person connection I have is you.
And Jake.
And Jake. Who's like,
And there are some revelations here.
so who do you share somebody with?
Emily?
And me?
Right.
Nobody's
And
done
you.
Jason, right?
Oh, we share Jason Mesnick.
Wait, did you do Jason Mesnick?
Oh, don't worry, there's more.
Allie dated Jake. Jake dated Jillian. We all dated Nick.
You did? You did.
I did.
You did? Did you?
I was on Nick's season.
Once the bonding is all done, the ladies cheers to Hannah and wish her luck.
And I hope that not only does she find love with the man of her life, but she's gonna find love with a bunch of really great women.
She better love us. She better love us.
To finish off the special though, Chris Harrison is headed to Alabama to visit Hannah before her journey for love begins. And if there's anything I learned from this segment, it's never leave Chris Harrison in your house alone unsupervised.
Should we dig around? I feel like we should dig around. Photo albums, all right. That's gotta be her. That's gotta be her. Holy cow. That's Joey Fatone.
That's Hannah's dad, by the way, who nowadays looks more like a Kenny Rogers lookalike.
$5. Take that.
So after Chris Harrison is done stealing from Hannah and rifling through her underwear drawers, he gets a one-on-one with our new Bachelorette, visiting all the places that represent Hannah's childhood. Restaurants she visited in college, chatting with her old dance instructor and boss, who she used to model for.
How beautiful.
We have the Hannah montage.
It's like 13, 14, 15.
This just made my trip.
Okay, stop creeping, Harrison. She's like 14 in those photos. Chris then gets a haircut from Kenny Rogers Brown, and our reunion special comes to a close, capped off with an extended season preview of the upcoming season, which, if you haven't checked out, I did a video breakdown on. So that's it for this recap of the Bachelorette reunion. We are back in full swing and Bachelorette is just around the corner, literally days away. So be sure to mark your calendars and get your wine glasses prepped. I'll be live tweeting the whole thing, so make sure to also follow me on Twitter at Bachelor Fantake, and I'll be seeing you all again in just a few days' time.
$5. Take that.